So let's do a continuation for the multiplying polynomials. So for this one, you want to distribute the negative 4x to all three terms here. So once you do that, it equals negative 4x times x squared, negative 4x times 3x, and negative 4x times negative 6. Okay? So when we do our multiplying here, for the first one, we want to add the exponents of 1 and 2. For the second one, make sure that you multiply the constants and add the exponents. And for the third one, you just want to multiply the constants because there's only one x. So the final answer for this would be negative 4x cubed minus 12x squared. And then a negative times a negative is a positive, so a positive 24x. Okay, so let's look at more problems here. Number 5. Now with number 5, you have to do a method called FOIL. So this means first terms, outer terms, inner terms, and last terms. Now with foiling, you want to label your terms A, B, C, D so that you can see how it's doing this foiling. Now when you do FOIL, your first terms are going to be A and C. I'll multiply your first two terms. Then you want to add and do your outer terms, A and D. Then you want to do your inner terms, B and C. And then you want to do your last terms, B and D. Okay, so these are your first, outer, inner, and last. So if we apply that to this problem, we're going to have 2x times x plus 2x times 7 plus negative 3 times x plus negative 3 times 7. Okay. Okay, so now that we've done our foiling, we can do our combining like we've been doing. So the first one would be 2x squared. The second one will be 14x. The third one will be minus 3x. And the fourth one will be minus 21. Now, you want to make sure this is simplified as much as possible, which means you only want to have one of each kind of term. So this one we have an x squared, but this one we have 2x to the 1 power. So you want to combine these because you want to have only one of each kind of term. So this ultimately is 2x squared. And if you do 14 minus 3, you get 11x minus 21. And this is your final answer. So let's try that foiling method again for number 6. So this would be A, B, C, D. And remember, FOIL means multiply the first terms, the outer terms, the inner terms, and the last terms. So that's A times C, A times D, B times C, B times D. So if we follow that, it'll be 10x times 6x plus 10x times 3y plus 4y times 6x okay, and our last one is 4y times 3y. Okay, so when we do our combining here, the first term should be 60x squared. Now this one has two different variables, so all you're going to do is multiply them together. You can't combine them into one, but you can combine the constants. 30xy plus, this one would be 24xy, and then 12y squared. Okay, again, you want to have this simplified as much as possible. So you want to have one of each kind of term. So we only have one x squared, but we have two different xy. So you want to make this into one. So the final answer will be 60x squared plus 54xy plus 12y squared. Okay. Now let's look at one more problem. Now this has three different things being multiplied. So let's break this up into steps. Let's call this to be A, this whole parentheses to be B, and this whole parentheses to be C. And to find the final answer, let's do A times B first. So multiplying these two first, and then multiplying C last. So after you do this times this, you want to do that answer times this. So if we break that up into steps, this will be 2x times 3x minus 4 for A times B. So make sure you distribute the 2x to both here and here. So this one would be 6x squared minus 8x. So you want to multiply this times C. So you got the first part, A times B. So to do A times B times C, you want to multiply 6x squared minus 8x times x plus 5. And with this one, you want to do FOIL. So whenever you have 4 different terms, you want to do FOIL, the foiling method. Okay? Now remember the foiling. The first terms plus the outer terms plus the inner terms, these two, plus the last terms, these two. Okay. So then our final answer for this problem would be to simplify this. So for the first one, we're going to have 6x to the third. For this one, we're going to have 30x squared. For this one, we're going to have minus 8x squared. And for the last one, we're going to have minus 40x. But again, you want this to be simplified as possible. And if you do that, your final answer would be 6x to the third plus 22x squared minus 40x. Okay. So this would be how you could approach this type of problem when you have 3 different types of multiplying for your terms. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work and split them into 2 parts. One of doing your A times B, and then the second one doing your FOILing. So I'm going to stop here. This is multiplying polynomials. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Thank you.